This is Jonathan St. James, and you're listening to
The Truth is Still Straight podcast.
This is a certified hood classic.
You're starting already. You started already.
All right, folks. This is a certified hood classic. And this is your host, Jonathan St. James, along with Jim in the house. So we got to give him some love for coming in today and hanging out. But you know who's not here? LaDonna Marie.
Oh, hell no.
Also missing is Dawn M. Kane and Donnie St. James. Wherever they are, we're showing them love. We're showing them love. So, of course, before we get things started, I wanted to give a shout out to everybody who's watching and supporting, giving comments, whatever they're doing in support of the show. And excuse me, I disappeared from the mic. And those people are Pedro Falcone, Tatiana Cruz, Lee Jones, Sister Millie from the West Coast, Johanny, V, Mr. Wilkes, Mahir, Milton Gonzalez, and Beverly, wherever you live. Well, I don't know about Beverly. She might have to get one of these because she'd be slacking. Okay, she gets one of those. Well, whenever she listens, we'll give her one of these. All right. Hopefully this year she'll be watching the show. All right, folks. So that's pretty much it. I wanted to start something new, and I just thought about this. I was kind of scrolling through Facebook, and I said, you know what? Let me try something different today. So I wanted to do a celebrity's true story. That's gonna be a segment that I want to do in the show.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
All right. So my celebrity true story is going to be that my first person that I'm going to talk about is LL Cool J. And I'm going to tell you my celebrity. And I have and it's funny, in my life, I think I've met LL Cool J about 3 times. And the first time that I met him, he first came out, and I'll never forget, I was at Sunrise Cinemas. For those of you who are familiar with, for my Queens people, Queens, Nassau County, Valley Stream peeps. Because for those of you who know, who are from Queens, Green Acres was the mall where everybody goes to that lives in those areas, Springfield, Jamaica, St. Albans, Laurelton, Rosedale, parts like that. And then on the Long Island side, close to there, that was the hangout spot a lot of people went to. Back in the days, they had a theater called Sunrise Cinemas. And actually, he has a video that I don't know what the video is, but he's actually in front of Sunrise Cinema, which is interesting because I have a very interesting story about him. So he had just came out, his first album. And of course, you know, people didn't pretty much like him. So I'll never forget, my sister Angela worked at Sunrise Cinemas, and we were going, it was a bunch of us. She hooked us up with some tickets. We were going to see one of the Police Academy movies. I don't remember which one it was. So anyway, we're there waiting to go into the theater because it's, nobody there. And there's a time where they let you in right before the movie comes. You get 20 minutes or whatever it is. So anyway, we're there. And we're kind of hanging out by the arcade. So I'll never forget, a car pulls up in front of the entrance and somebody saw LL get out. So they were like, oh, LL's coming. Nobody say anything to LL Cool J. So he comes in. Nobody says a word. Right? So he's walking around. I guess he's looking for attention. So then he comes. So I'm standing at the video games, and he comes over. He's like, "Oh, y'all playing video games over there?" And I was like, "Yes." He said, "The game. You like that game?" I was like, "Yes." So then he, went around. It must have been like 10 people at the most in the whole area, including the employees. So he walks around. I guess he's looking to see who's going to say something. But, everybody knew each other. So we were all in on the joke. No one said anything. He tried to speak to a couple other people. Yes, no answers. So he begins to walk out. And as he walked out, the guy that's in the concession stand, he says, "All right, hello, have a good one." And so he walked out. The car pulled up in front again. I want to say it was a Thunderbird. All I know is a two-door car. And he gets in the passenger. Before he opens the door, he kicks the side of the, where you can kind of put your foot on the side there. He kicks it a few times and then he gets in the car and they drive off. So that's my story. But to be honest, I do like LL Cool J a lot. I wasn't a fan initially because, people kind of, I was a kid. So people clouded my mind. Oh, he's an a-hole, whatever. But big fan now. Big fan of LL. And that's my story. All right, let's get on. Do you have a celebrity story you want to share, Jim?
Nope.
Okay. I know you have a few. I got one of you, but I won't.
I got a few side ones, but I mean, nope.
All right, so we'll let you think about that, and maybe next week or the week after we'll get that going. All right, folks. Okay, so we know what you come here for. You come here to see the good. So we got a show for you today. All right, now we're gonna do a reaction because y'all love the reactions. I don't know why you guys don't want to hear us talk about anything else but Kevin Samuels' reaction. So once again, we're in the building. I need one of them sound bites. Hopefully somebody can get one going. But we're in the building and we got a Kevin Samuels reaction video, and that one is called Galentine's is the worst day. Whatever that means. Galentine's, gal in time, woman. So this is a clip. It starts off at 2 hours, 11 minutes and 27 seconds into the video, just to give you a full disclosure of when this happened. So, all right, I'm gonna start playing it right now.
Hi, Godfather. I'm fine. How are you?
I am well. How old are you?
I am 24.
24.
24. All right. What do you got for me? What are we talking about today?
Okay. So, I'm dating somebody that's like 8 years older than me, and I know that I want to get married, and I'm kind of like at this point where I want to know, like, at what point am I wasting my time? Because we've been dating for like about 6 months now. Like, at what point would I be just wasting my time?
Right
How old
now.
are you?
Right
24.
now.
And how you said he's 8 years older than you?
Mm-hmm.
All right. What has your father met him?
Yes.
What does your father think about him?
Well, I was in foster care, but my foster father kind of doesn't make comments
What? Foster
about
father.
the people we're dating, like unless he sees like, I guess like signs of abuse, like mental,
What?
physical, and stuff.
Okay,
So,
first of all, I'm going to tell you what's wrong with this woman. Hold on. This is what's wrong with this woman.
This is a certified hood classic.
That's the problem with her, first and foremost. And I'll get into that in the beginning, later on in the show. I'm going to let her talk a few.
he hasn't really said anything, but he seems like he likes him.
She got that SpongeBob action going on.
Did you start dating him with the express intent of getting married?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I smell cat.
And did he start dating you with the same intent?
Of getting married, probably not.
Well, then how does that work? If you started dating him with the express intent of getting married, and he did not have the same intent, that's a disconnect right there.
That's facts.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, don't people like I mean, when you first start dating somebody, I personally didn't think like, okay, I want to marry this man. I think like I made that decision like after a couple months of dating.
Well, that's the problem. That's the problem. Dating is dumb because exactly what you describing happened.
She belongs to the streets.
You guys decide you start to bond to somebody who does not fit.
The intention.
See, what's supposed to happen is, let's just assume you are a wife. Then you should only be dealing with people who want to get married. And
And I agree. Let me just stop that. I know for some of you, I like for you to get a nice, good feel of the discussion. But in this situation, she shows what the problem is. And a lot of people do this. A lot of men do this, and a lot of women do this. But the difference between the men and the women is the women complain about it. The men just kind of go along to get along. And that's what the real issue is here. So I think that's a big mistake that she made in regards to her understanding of what was going to happen in this relationship. So she brought expectations. She brought false expectations without knowing if that was ever going to be a part of their relationship. And I agree with Kevin when he says that, did you let him know that you were interested in getting married? And so she says she intended, at least this far into the video, she says she intended to get married, but he didn't say anything about it. Now, did you want to say something, Jim? Because I kind of saw you kind of react to what she said.
No, you no, it's how they initially started. She said when you initially started, it was no, but over time, people might like the same things the way it is now. And then, when you switch up the agenda or, the program, some people might, run off or, they get scared. So it's good to be upfront with it, or, at least like, don't wait to feel out, just, see what his agenda is.
Yeah, that's true. So this already started off wrong, and I'm gonna really blame her, and I'm gonna say too, he has a fault, but his fault is different than hers. Her fault is not finding out what his intentions straight up, and his fault was he was stringing her along because he knew, he knows. I don't, I can't say knew because most surely this is Valentine's Day, so this is recent. All right, so let's continue on.
Looking for wives. You have that conversation in the first conversation.
I agree.
Well, we've had that conversation. He's proposed to 2 other people before, so he's definitely marriage minded.
No. You're listening to what you're hearing what you want to hear.
Yep.
Did this man start dating you with the express intention that he wanted to get married?
No.
And you said no.
Right.
So everything else doesn't matter. Confirmation bias, you will find a way to make it fit. And you ask me if I'm wasting my time. Why? Yes. If you're a wife, you're wasting your time. But are you a wife?
Um.
No.
Mm-mm.
That's why you're wasting your time. Wives wouldn't waste their time.
That's fact.
Just one thing I can't say definitively.
Wives
don't waste their time. Wives don't waste their time with men who aren't looking to get married. Just like the other woman. She wasn't a wife. You're not a wife. That's why y'all are content to waste your time, and that's fine. But just know that. So when it ends, you can't blame the man.
Let me just stop it there because I agree with that. I agree with that because if you know you want something, the person isn't moving in the direction of what the outcome you're looking for. Why stay with that person? Yeah. Why stay with that person? And when you're staying with that person, all you're doing is you're prolonging the outcome, which is not going to be in your favor because, as you said, that you wanted to marry and he didn't speak on it, and you said they would 6 months. Is that what she said? 6 months?
6 months.
Yeah. So by now, my man's looking at you, and he's saying it. I bet you this is why I can tell you why he is probably not trying to wife you up, because his friends is probably asking him,
"Damn, son, where'd you find this?"
So she's probably not ideal for the environment that he's in, and he's rocking with her because I know why. Because she's she's fresh, she's young, and a lot of guys they'll deal with that youth. But when you talk about taking the serious for the wife and a family, a future, he's definitely talking about something else. he's definitely not on board with that. He's probably like,
Oh, hell no.
when it comes to that. And a lot of women, they gotta figure it out. And Kevin is onto something when he's like, when a man really wants a woman, he doesn't waste time in telling that woman what he wants, unless he's
Beta.
then that's gonna be a problem. When the guy is
Beta.
he may have a problem telling a woman what he wants, but you know, somebody who's really about what they're doing, they're gonna be like,
Yeah.
and then try to put it on her, try to put marriage, family, whatever it is that he desires, he's gonna be upfront about it. It's just those beta guys that are socially awkward and don't know how to express themselves, that may kind of just do whatever they can to get to tomorrow. And that happens a lot. All right, moving forward.
So
She
I don't
playing
know.
with
Like,
that.
I'm still having a disconnect because we've had conversations about marriage and stuff like that, and it's definitely something that he wants. It seems like the conversations that we have about
Does he want it with
between
you?
us is
Right.
more so a matter of
That's the
He doesn't
question.
want to marry you. Just like the last lady. Men will talk to you about being married. There's a difference when a man talks about marriage and the man talks about marrying you.
That's what we just said.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah. And hold on. Okay, I got a former President Obama on the phone. President Obama, what would you like to say to the 24-year-old woman that's dating this guy for 6 months?
Come on, man.
Exactly. This is ridiculous. I don't know why we even having this conversation with Kevin, because he's already told her the answers to her problems straight out, like not even 5 minutes into the discussion, and Kevin has already told her what the problem is, and she keeps telling Kevin,
How, Sway?
and that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. He's giving you the answer. You keep acting like you
ain't got the answer, Sway.
but apparently he has the answer, and she is just not listening. So we know, right, in this situation, the problem is all the way her.
Okay.
Now let's continue.
No, we did talk. No, he has talked about marrying me specifically. He basically has said that.
Are you a wife?
She capping.
I don't really know. I don't know.
Were you raised to be a wife?
But I have things to
Were
work
you
on.
raised to be a wife?
No.
Excuse me?
Were you raised to be a wife?
No.
No, sir.
Okay.
Mm.
You have any siblings? You said you're in foster care, right?
Yes.
Why do you want to get married?
I want to get married because, for one, I was in foster care with my immediate family, and a lot of my family are married. And then I also want to be married because I'm a single mom, and I now see the importance of having a male
Oh
figure
Lord.
around my child. I see the importance of having a man in my
Where's your
life.
child's father?
Where is my child's father?
Yep.
Since I decided not to be with him, he is not communicating with me anymore.
How old is your child?
She is 3.
There's all kind of things wrong with this
Facts.
situation.
Done, yo.
It is.
Oh my God.
You need therapy. You need to get your kid ready for some therapy. And you are not a wife and not ready to be a wife because you just described you want somebody to help you raise their kid.
Mm-hmm.
No, ma'am.
No.
Please don't fight me on this one. You don't want to go where this.
She don't want that smoke. She don't want that smoke because they about to set the alarm off on her. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, that's on Chicago Fire. That's one of my favorite shows. Just want to put that out there. All right, Jim. You sound like you was itching to say something. What you had to say other than
And she just explained why he probably don't want to marry her. She's like to me, she functions in instability. Foster homes are not really stable. It seems like she has a child with, she has a child already, and she didn't want to marry the father of the child. Didn't say why, which is really weird. And then she expects this other guy to marry her, but the child's father wanted to marry her, right?
I don't know if I kind of heard her say that. I'm kind of lost for that part of the convo. I didn't hear her necessarily say that. I know she said that when she broke up with the guy, he didn't want anything to do with her or
Yeah.
the kid, and that's a very unfortunate situation because not the kid's fault. You should never take anything out on the child.
No,
That's very sad.
no, but it's just it's all wrong. It's all messed up. I think the conversations that they have are probably a little bit deeper. I don't think she's being too forthcoming. He probably asked her questions about her and the child in the marriage, and she probably didn't maybe agree with some things, or they're probably working through some things. That's why I said they had discussions, but discussions about marriage. But what was the discussions? Like the whole idea of just saying you had discussions, it doesn't, you could just say you gotta marry me, he could just say no, and then that's it. That's a
But
discussion.
I think here's what the situation is. I don't know what this guy looks like. Maybe he's not the best looking guy. Maybe he's doesn't have the best situation, the ideal life for himself. But if I had to take a guess, he's 8 years older, so that's what 32. She says
Yeah.
she's 24. 24 and 8 is 32. So he is probably getting along to getting along. Going along to get along. I'm sorry, I just butchered that up. But I think what's really happening is if they talked about marriage, he probably kind of just, yeah. They're one of those and try to get, maybe the game was about to start and she started talking. But I bet you, Maury Povich asked him, and this is what Maury Povich said about asking the guy if he wanted to marry this woman.
My detector test determined that was a lie.
Yeah, I'm sure this guy, because if you say you talked about it and that's all it was and it didn't manifest to anything else, clearly this guy's not interested. All right, let's move forward.
I understand you're a single mother, you're a 3-year-old, but there are red flags all over the place. And I'm telling you, marriage won't fix what's going on
Nope.
here.
Well, I mean, I'm not looking for a stepdaddy per se. It's
Per se.
Ma'am, it'll be a goddamn stepdaddy no matter what you want to call it.
Facts.
Your husband would be a stepfather to your child. Yes or no?
Yes, sir. I understand
Thank
that.
you. Then it don't matter. Y'all don't want to call it, but you are. And let me correct you, man. You are looking for a stepdaddy before you're looking for a husband. That's how we look at it. We got to look at that the kid we're taking on cause you're a pack a deal. He's a stepdaddy first. He's your husband second.
And
right.
I don't agree with that.
I don't give a shit if you agree with it.
What?
You're not the one that has to take the risk.
Lady, the problem is
Okay.
What?
You got a daughter of a dude that ain't even talking to you.
right, or her.
Oh, but that means a man is walking into a jacked up situation.
That's facts.
And he has to. And do you want any more kids?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
How many more?
He's right. I'll give her that.
2.
So if a man were to have 2 children with you, every dollar he would spend on the 3 kids, 66 cents of his dollar would go to his 2 kids, and then 33 cents would go to another man's child.
Facts.
How is another man's child an asset for your for another man?
I mean, why couldn't I make that same argument since he has a
No,
child?
ma'am, you can't answer. So you can't see what you can't do is answer a question with the question. The question I asked was, how is another man's child an asset for another man?
The child is not an asset to another man.
So the only way to make it make sense is you got to make another argument.
Message.
And that's the problem. That's the issue. A stepfather is a bad deal today.
It is.
Because they don't get the respect. Number 2, you didn't come in saying, I want to come in and support a man in his dreams and desires and what he wants to build in this. You said, I see the importance of having a man around and I want to have somebody. It's all about you and what you need. But what about him?
Message.
Well,
He has to step in. If he marries you, ma'am, your child is a liability. In the way, you don't want to look at it this way, but your child is a liability. Meaning this, if he has $100, are you going to allow him to put $100 onto his kids and zero onto your daughter?
Mm.
Um,
Ma'am, don't even make the come on now.
Right. She
No,
was thinking of a
yeah,
lie. She
If
was
he
thinking
comes
of a
back with a
lie.
pizza, I
she
smell
going
cap.
on.
He
no,
comes back with a pizza. The pizza has 12, and the pizza has 12 slices. He gives 3 to his son, 3 to his daughter. He eat 3, you eat 3, your daughter gets none.
that would be a problem.
Of course.
Exactly. So he has to provide for your daughter like it's his biological child. True or false?
True.
Yes, sir.
That's not a good goddamn deal for any man.
Nope.
It may not sound like a good deal, but I feel like
Birch.
I'm not just looking for a stepfather. Like I've committed a lot to him within these past couple months. Like I currently work for him. I quit my job to work for him.
That was stupid.
Like I've been trying my best to like I'm very submissive to him. I listen to him and I'm very supportive of everything that he's doing. And when I started to date him, that's when I started to think more realistically
Ma'am,
about
the things I
So now I'm gonna stop it here.
Yeah,
And
please.
she is really not making wise decisions there, especially when you're not married to the guy. She says she quit her job and she's working for him. Now, I'm sure perhaps that you're getting paid or some type of benefit for working for him. But here's the thing, when you break up with him, what's going to happen then? Is he going to fire you? Are you going to quit? If he gets another woman and she don't want you working for him, what's going to happen? So, the thing here is people want to play married without being married. And that's a big problem. You can't play married, not in this day and age, because people be so quick, especially guys that don't have anything invested with you. When they're good and done, they're going to be like, out. And once he's out, he's taking his basketball. He ain't gonna let you stay with him. He's not gonna be like, oh yeah, especially if he moves on to another woman. If he moves on to another woman, he's not gonna be like, oh, I need you to still work with me. No, he gonna get the next person to deal with him. And that's a bad investment. And I think, ladies, you gotta invest wise. When you meet men, you gotta know what they're about, or at least what they appear to be about. Because no one is 100% honest 100% of the time. But you got to get an idea where this guy's at. So you got to ask some serious questions when you meet the person. And don't ask them a phrase to you. This is what I would advise women to do when they meet men. I would advise them to ask questions, but mostly listen. Don't ask too many questions. Get them talking. Get an understanding of where this guy comes from. Because if the wrong person will definitely tell on themselves, because it's for someone to be able to lie to you all day, every day, they got to be one into a good actor, or they got to be a compulsive liar. So most people, they can attempt to do those things, but after that, eventually they fall to who their default personality is. When you give them that space and you just observe them in that space, when you're not asking them to answer anything, if you just let them naturally act, you'll find out who people are. For in my life, it's been the people I've let be themselves that I've discovered that they weren't for me. The times that I failed at those things are the times where I just ask questions. Oh, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? In regards to us. And of course, people tell you what you want to hear. Men tell women what they want to hear. Women tell men what they want to hear to get the benefits. But of course, a lot of times you find out when it's too late that the person was lying to you. They wanted something. They had some kind of secret. And then it's like, by that time, it's just too late. You done invested yourself in a person. You're like, wow, I can't believe I invested these years. I quit my job like this lady did. And then all of a sudden, now you got to figure out what you're going to do when you're broken up, or you get to a point when it's and it's beyond where you can like, I can't ignore these red flags anymore. Now I have to break up or move on or whatever it is. This is very sad. I actually feel bad for her, especially since she has a 3-year-old daughter and the father of that girl is not raising the child. That's very sad. Very sad. Yeah, I feel bad, but she got to, she got to wake up. She got to rise up, as they say.
I'm saying the things I'm saying to you fit any single mother.
I agree.
So I'm not. It's not. It's not about you. It's just the fact that I've been a stepfather. Okay, look, it's not a good deal. Okay, if he chooses to take on the responsibility, just understand that it's not what most men would do.
Is like a cat back
And
there?
my
What
thing
is
is,
that?
if a man is willing to take on the responsibility of another child today, I don't know, man. I hope he gets the reverence he deserves.
I just feel like that's putting I just
Merch.
feel like that's putting me in a box with other people.
Yeah, it's called a baby mama. That's where you are. You're a baby mama.
No,
That's right.
It
You're in a
is.
box. You're in the
No
baby
matter how
mama
special
box. Yep, you're in the baby
you
mama
are,
box. You ain't
it
special.
is.
Nope.
I'm,
Y'all all think
I'm
y'all
not.
special. Y'all all think you're special. You picked.
See?
Look, man. Like it or not, I'm trying to be as nice as possible, but you ain't gonna run that shit over here. You made a baby with a dude that don't even stick around.
Right.
You're not an ex-wife. You're not a widow. You're a baby mama. That's a box. That's a
That's
box.
not,
That's a box.
I understand. That's not what I'm talking about, though. What I was referring to was the comments that you like. Well, specifically, what I was thinking about was when you said how stepfathers don't get the respect that they deserve, because that's the conversation.
They don't get the respect from society like they
They
used to.
don't.
They don't. They
They
don't.
don't.
They don't.
But
Stepfathers have no rights.
why should the respect of society matter when I respect him and I make sure my child respects him?
Because hold on. So here's it's now here's I'm gonna say, hold on.
I smell cap.
So, lady, you definitely are a.
This is a certified hood classic.
Now, here's the problem with what she said, because I'm going to tell you why she's really trying not to be the villain in this story. And you, first of all, you talked about society, but you've just confessed that society has influenced your way of thinking. If you listen to what she said earlier when she talked about her family, she said her family, she said she grew up in a foster home with her immediate family and they were married. So society's value has a weight on what you value. So if them being married had an influence on you, the lack of respect for a stepfather that society has will also influence you not to value a stepfather the way that you should, because you're impressionable by what the general population views. So if I mean, let's be honest, we all are influenced to something in some way or another. Now, certain things we're influenced by other people. Some of them are major, some of them are minor, some of them are like, oh, I don't like that TV show. Nobody likes it, so we don't like it. But the serious things, you're like, nah, I'm not budging on that. I'm not following anybody. There's people in life, they follow other people in foolish things, or they follow people in things that are detrimental to their lifestyle. And clearly, you just said that you were impressionable by your family members. So it is not out of the realm of possibility that you unknowingly know. And that's the truth of the matter, is people don't know that they've been influenced. They're just living their life. They're just living their life. They don't know that society has influenced them. It's like watching politics. You'd be surprised how many people don't like a president or a mayor or a candidate based on what society is saying about the person and not yourself. I see it all the time. I made a comment on social media about showing how hard it is to be a president of the United States. And the person, instead of saying, I agree, was like, well, they all suck. But that wasn't the point that I made. The point that I made is people, when this was the point, and this wasn't me saying that Trump was a great president or not, but everybody thinks when a person is a president that it is easy. So when Trump became president, my point was a lot of people felt that anybody could be president. But what I said is that it goes to show you that it is not an easy job to do. It's easy to get elected. It is not easy to do the work. And then I just made reference to what's going on right now in Ukraine. Now, this is not to get political at all, but to say you're now saying everybody sucks. The point that I was making wasn't Trump was great, Joe Biden was bad. That wasn't the point that I was making. The point that I was making is, as you can see, it's not easy, that the results that presidents get are very difficult, and not everybody can get good results that people will be satisfied or people will be safe with. Let's keep it honest, because I didn't like Michael Bloomberg, but New York was a lot safer under Michael Bloomberg than under de Blasio, which I did like. But de Blasio did a very poor job at being the mayor of New York. So that's the point that I'm making. So people are impressionable by other people, getting back to the original point of this conversation. And then here, you are definitely impressionable because who raised you? You say you were raised by a stepfather. No, excuse me, not a stepfather, a foster father, and he didn't get involved in your relationship. So that's where we are now. And let's see what else she's talking about, because I kind of browse over this just to see if there was a conversation going on. I didn't really watch it. I browsed over it. So I wanted to see what else she's saying. Did you want to say anything, Jim, or?
No, people in expansion of that, most of these conversations I see, people don't like to be grouped in a box.
No one does, even though they are. I mean,
yeah, everybody got offended, but unfortunately, if you go down to nitty gritty, you're already in a box. You're just trying to make yourself seem you're better than the box, or you're better than the other people in the box.
Right.
That's what you're basically doing. You are still in the box. Like the baby mama thing, like you're not, I never heard of an exceptional baby mama. I just heard of you're a mother or you're not. I mean, the status, yeah, you don't like it. I understand that you don't like it. Some people don't like the label. It doesn't mean that just because you're an exceptional mother doesn't mean you're not a baby mama. Unfortunately, you're still that. You're a good mother, yes, but you're still a baby mama. I mean, unfortunately, the status that you've, I won't say attained, but you've gotten, it's still there, and people will try to like gloss it over, mark it over, or do other things to make the label disappear. But it's still there unless you do something to change it or something like that, which is, you marry the father of your child, stuff like that. But and that rarely happens, obviously. But it's the same thing with me. I wear glasses, I'm a dude, I'm single, they'll put me in a box, I'm not saying, I do things differently than other people, but that doesn't mean I'm not in the box. It's just that for that status, yeah, I'm in the group, I'm in that group. For another group, yeah, I'm in that group too. You're there. You don't have to like, some people like it, some people accept it, some people don't, but you're there. If you want to change the status, unfortunately for her, in that regards, she has to talk back to the father of her child. And, I know it's difficult, it's hard, but, excuse me, I don't like the fact that, you want to change the narrative because you don't like it. Unfortunately, for you to change a narrative, you have to do something actionable, something that will correct what's going on if you don't want some of those labels. And some people don't want to do that. They want to continue on, but you have to have, unfortunately, society's going to label you with that attachment because you did the criteria, you fit the criteria, criteria to be geniuses, criteria to be engineers, criteria to be, you just fit the criteria. That's all.
He's on fire!
All right, let's continue.
That you asked that question just shows how little y'all understand who we are as men. That to men, that question answers
getting
itself.
triggered.
And the fact that I have to explain it to you shows the gap between female and male understanding today.
You see how she's getting triggered?
Go in the comment section. Look at what the men say to that. Your respect ain't enough.
That's right.
We live in a world to where we live in a world to where your daughter is 3. When she becomes 14, and you have 2 more kids, and she sees that her siblings are getting different treatment than she gets. Mama, Dante looked at me a certain way when I came out of the bathroom.
Why his name got to be Dante?
I don't like the way he been looking at me. He asked me to do so and so. All it takes is one allegation, man.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg up on charges right now. He's being sued, not on charges, being sued right now. Man.
I think that's on the parents. Like,
you know the problem with what?
if
The
I
problem
feel
with
like
the parents? The problem with the parents?
I want to clarify what I was trying to say. I feel like any child who makes a false allegation against a man like that is a fault on the parents, because I feel like that's an early.
Why didn't you marry your daughter's father?
Why did I not?
Oh, here we go.
I felt like he was after I had my child. I felt like he was not emotionally or mentally stable, and he
How
was
old
not.
is he?
26.
So you got a 26-year-old baby daddy and a 32-year-old boyfriend. Your child is 3 years old. Why'd you make a baby with a guy who's 2 years older than you and not emotionally stable before getting married?
Aha!
Well, when we first started dating,
He was.
You did not have a wedding ring and a marriage certificate. We know that. Why'd you marry him?
Please,
me and my child's father had a conversation about being
but you
married.
didn't have a wedding.
Facts.
The wedding did not happen.
No, it didn't happen. So you weren't married.
It feels so lovely to be here tonight. What a beautiful. Give yourself a round of
the marriage
applause.
did
So
not
lovely.
happen
So
according
lovely.
to him, because he did not
No,
go
it
to
didn't
the
happen according to anybody. You didn't have a marriage certificate. You didn't have a justice of the peace, a judge, a ceremony. Not according to him. Did you get married legally? I mean, what do you mean not according to him? According to the law, it didn't happen.
No, we did not get legally married, but what I'm saying.
Why did you do that? Why did you have a baby coming from foster care, knowing how important family is? Why did you have a baby before getting married?
Because I thought that man was gonna marry me, and I thought he was gonna.
No. Is that what's supposed to see? You said that if a kid does something, it's the fault of the parents. Okay, well then this is the parent who decided to have a baby before
That's
you
facts.
got married because you thought he was gonna marry you. You know one way to ensure that. You know one way to ensure that.
Marry before you carry.
Is to get the marriage first, right?
Yes, sir.
Then you wouldn't be in the position you're in
Right. Because then you went.
Look, man, I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
I wonder if it's the same type of conversation for marriage she's having with the 32-year-old.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no, because if you still with the guy and you still talking about, well, this and that, and you're talking that at 6 months, you're not having that same conversation. I'm pretty sure the guy said, yeah, I want to get married. That did he say with her? I don't know. I mean, I wasn't there, but it's not happening.
Yes, how conversations or marriage is not going anywhere.
Yeah. See, stuff like that frustrates me, because it's like people make excuses. They make excuses for what they want to do. And then that makes me feel like this.
All I want you to do is send an ambulance, because I'm finna bust a cap in these fools.
Right. Because that's some silly business right there. Lady, you don't have time to waste. You raising a 3-year-old child pretty much, as you said, by yourself. The father of the child is not there. You don't have time to waste on men that don't want to build anything with you. And if he doesn't want to build anything, you got to move on. Because here's the problem with these ladies. They ask these guys to
Get in my belly.
So once he's all up in that belly, moving her guts around, and then they finish, now you think all of a sudden it's going to grow to something else? When the guy's not showing you he wants to move past whatever you got going on now. He got you for 6 months, and I'm pretty sure he done rubbed all over you all this time. He done got his business accomplished with you. So now where's the marriage? He's not even engaged. She didn't even say she was engaged. So lady, you gotta get this show on the road, and you gotta figure this out real soon, because if not, you'll be 6 years old trying to figure it out.
Aha!
All right, let's move on. I'm about to shut it down real soon.
Because
But
you
that's
are in a box. You are in a box, ma'am. And here's the thing: you need to understand the box you're in is what the men say it is. Men look at baby mamas different than they do single mothers.
They do.
Thank
Women
you.
who are
You're in a
married and had kids.
box.
You didn't make a good choice. Because
Yeah.
understand something: any man that marries you has got to look and say, "You married a dude that was 2 years older, unstable."
Yeah.
Then why does he want to raise inferior DNA?
Ooh.
Let's just
why
get
would I
real.
call his
Why
child?
would a man want to come in and be a stepfather to inferior DNA? You said he was
Damn.
mentally unstable or
She getting
whatever
You,
mad
in
at the
his
guy.
first
He didn't
life.
even say that.
DNA. That's not fair to me. He has a child
Who
as
cares
well.
about fair?
thank you. Wait,
So why
can-
does he get a pass?
wait, so the guy he with has a child?
The 32-year-old guy has a child. Yes.
So okay, she wants to. You see, this is the thing, and this is what she's not realizing. What Kevin said in the argument, the man has to pay for the child. He's already paying for that child. You
That's right.
coming in, what are you adding to it? Like he's already was taking responsibility for that child. He's probably paying for the child already. So this money's already allocated for that child. So that's his. But when you come in with your child, he has to allocate money for that too, and it's not his. And she's not equating, she's not putting two and two together for that. You know, it's different for him. It's not fair. Of course, it's not fair, but he's still trying to handle his responsibility. So he has to handle his responsibility and take on yours.
Mm-hmm. I
And
agree
she's
with
not
that.
like that. She just thinks, she's respectful, she brings value, stuff like that. But for a guy, it's different. Because he's already using his resources for one child, that's his. So that whole pizza pie thing, he's probably will be paying 66 cents for his child already, and your child gets 33.
Right.
And if the child is definitely now living with him, you're gonna feel some type of way because he's not there all the time.
Right.
So
But let me put it this way. Break it down even further. So here's the thing. So it's very rare that men have custody of their kids. Let's be honest, even ones that are active in their kids' lives, that they're raising, they're helping raise the child. Most of the time, men who have kids, the mother tends to raise these kids. So your your responsibility will only be when the kid is around, but the father's responsibility will be 24 hours a day. But if he marries you, he will have more, unless he gets custody of that child or that child is with him, he will have 24/7 custody of your kids as long as you're together. You won't have 24/7 custody of his son if he's this or a daughter, whatever, if that child isn't in the household. And that's the difference. So you can say, well, he got a kid too, but it is dependent on whether that kid is living with you both. Because a child that's visiting for a weekend is not the same as a child that lives in through your house Sunday through Saturday, and you're taking care of that child like you have to take care of your own. That child is, if he has your kids and doesn't have his own, he's taking care of your kid more than he's taking care of his own, because he sees your kids all day, every day that he's home. So you cannot compare the same. Now, unless you are the provider and you're going to be providing for his child, which doesn't really happen very often.
No.
Your income, what they usually say, like the Give Me the Loot song, was mine's is mine and yours is mine. And that's usually what comes out of it is the woman makes money, she saves her own, or she contributes her. And if the guy's living well, he contributes to the household, and you contribute some and then save the rest for yourself. Usually in those situations, there of course there are 50-50 situations where both are paying, but I don't know if that's the case here. But what is the case is if the child isn't with him and he moves in with you and your kids and get married or whatever, he's responsible for your children 24/7 because they live with him. And that's the difference. And that's what she's not understanding.
Bubba said something I won't ever forget.
And it should be that.
When he's a single father, but why do I have to why does he get more respect and I have more faith in him? But as like women are more acceptable.
Women want fairness. Women want fairness when it suits them.
That's facts.
I'm not.
This is what it is. Why is it fair? Man, you want him to marry you.
No, but I'm asking a legit question. Like,
but
why?
No, you're asking a legit question. You ask, and I'm giving you the answer because you want him to marry you. Because we choose, because men decide who gets married. That's
But
why.
he gonna be
Listen, listen. Pack it up, calm down, and let me help you. Women choose who gets born and who has sex.
That's facts.
Those are your choices. Men determine who gets asked for marriage. We control access to marriage. You control access to sex and who gets born. If you decided you wanted to have an abortion, could your baby daddy have stopped you?
no, sir.
Nope.
Well, how is that fair to him?
She getting real
Oh, see,
emotional.
you accept the unfairness when it benefits you.
No, I did not accept the unfair.
It's
She about to kill Kevin.
unfair. True or false?
It's unfair, and I did not exercise that.
Okay, so there is unfairness in sexual dynamics.
Those are facts.
And
Yes,
right
it
now,
is.
you want to marry him.
Right, he's good with the
32.
arrangement. Yep.
He's got a business, right?
Yes, sir.
He's in a better position, so why does he get a pass? Because he's earned it. You haven't.
Right.
That's the reality. I'm not supposed to say it, but that's the reality. Because he's 32, got a business. He can take care of his shit. Can you take care of your shit?
Nope.
No, sir.
Exactly.
Huh?
No, sir.
That's why he gets a pass.
All right, so I'm gonna pretty much end it there. Yeah, and ladies, see, this is the problem that you have. You want something, but you can't see past the beginning stages of the relationship. And once the man gets once he gets that nanny, if he don't want to be with you, it's pretty much a wrap. And you might as well and beat it, because what's going to happen is you are it's not going to end well. 9 out of 10 times it's not going to end well. You're going to find yourself in a situation you wish you weren't in to begin with. So you got to think about it this way. All right, it's about that time. This is a special event. Hold on. Relationship braces, bringing hearts together, one heart at a time. We got a special guest today that will deliver the braces. ESPN or wherever he's at. I don't think he's at ESPN anymore, or maybe he is. Stephen A. Smith. He will give the relationship braces. What do you say, Stephen A. Smith? Give us those braces.
Stay off the weed.
There you go. That's the relationship braces. Hopefully that'll bring her together. Her heart, at least. Lady, you crying over there. Truth of the matter is, you got to be upfront with what you want. And if it's not moving in the direction, you can't be afraid to move on. So many people, they're afraid to move on. And then they get in situations where they wish they didn't get themselves in the first place. You don't want to put yourself in that situation, because you'll spend an eternity unhappy. And the last place you want to be is in a lifetime of unhappiness. So, lady, my advice to you, if you were listening, is move on.
Yeah.
And that's the relationship braces for real. And I wish the best for everyone that's out there looking for happiness. I think everybody should attain happiness, but you gotta, it's like going to college. You can't get a degree without going through the process of attaining a degree. You can't just say, I want a PhD, and you're just gonna wake up and you think a PhD is gonna be there. You got to put in that work. And that's what relationships are too. It's work. You got to put in the work to get the results that you want. Because if not, you'll just be running into a lot of predators out there looking for you.
Everywhere.
Right. And then all of a sudden, now you find out that the guy took advantage of it, and you acting like you're now you want to light that fire on that guy. So before you get to that point, you want to find the most peaceful path in your life with a tongue twister. And you got to do that up front. You got to talk. You got to let them talk. You got to listen and observe. And that's really what it's about. All right, Jim. So, I'm trying not to have this over an hour long because, people be complaining. Their attention spans be like 2 minutes long. So do you have any closeout words you'd like to give before we end this show?
You mostly said everything. People don't like labels, want to be in a box. If you don't want to be a label in a box, don't fit the criteria. There's a lot of other things you can be. And, if you really don't see you going somewhere, it's the same thing with a job. If you don't like we see you going with a job, you go get a new one. It's the point of people are afraid to go out there. Don't be afraid to go out there. The world's bigger than you think. Just leave your four corners and you'll find something. It'll take some time and you have to put in the work, but you'll find something.
That's big facts right there. All right, folks, we're going to end this show right here. We thank you for watching, listening, commenting, liking, subscribing, whatever you're doing. Once again, this is Jonathan St. James, along with the trusty co-host and partner in crime, Jim. And for those who are not here, Donna Kane, LaDonna Marie, and Donnie St. James, we wish you a farewell until the next episode, as they say, or at least Snoop Dogg says that.